Hi, I'm Dr. Marc Dussault, and I'm here with the Managing Director of the Australian Bullion Company.
Hey, Marc.
I'm sorry?
I said, hey, Marc.
Yes, and his name, by the way, and this happens every once in a while when you do these.
I do like to be polite.
His name is Peter August. So I
you.
apologize for not using his name because obviously we know each other, but you might not know him. So getting on to this, we're doing a series actually of YouTube videos, and what I have here are some silver bars. And what I wanted to focus on is you started mentioning something, and I stopped you at the end of another YouTube video,
Sure.
Talking about silver as an investment. Now, I worked in the printing industry where silver was used for photographic purposes in film. And a lot of the industry thought, well, when film goes, the price of silver is going to plummet, because obviously film was a big user of silver components within the actual film. Manufacturing process.
Okay, well, I'll just...
But that didn't happen.
Well, that didn't happen primarily because the majority of the silver that was used in the photographic industry was recyclable.
Correct.
Okay, about 87%, my understanding is, was recyclable.
Yeah.
Okay, so only 13%, if the photographic industry just fell off a cliff, that's only a 13% drop.
Sure.
Drop, because the rest was just reused.
Yeah, it's a big thing in photographic shops to recycle for the content of silver, and that was when silver wasn't worth what it's worth now. How much is this 1 kilo of what's 999 fine silver, by the way? What does 999 mean? Because I know what 4 nines are in gold.
Yeah.
But what is 999 in silver?
Okay, well that's 99.9%.
Okay, so 99.9.
So it's not as pure as gold, but it's pure enough for investment purposes.
So as investment grade, 99.9 is good enough in silver.
Correct.
This 1 kilo bar is worth how much right now?
About $680.
680 Australian dollars.
Correct.
And this obviously is worth about
5 times that much.
5 times that much, which is about $3,000. Okay, so that's what you can get a sense of what this is worth. Now, why would someone invest in silver?
Sure.
As an investor? A lot of people consider gold and silver bullion an investment only for the rich.
Yeah.
But in fact, silver has an advantage or has some benefits in relation to gold.
Sure. Well, I mean, you can buy silver in as little as 1 ounce pieces.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, you'll buy them either in 1 ounce coin form or 1 ounce bars. 1 ounce coins have become very, very popular over the last 20 years. And so it can cost as little as $25.
So it's a very low entry point.
Correct.
And it's fun for the kids, and
Absolutely.
it's fun for collectors as well.
Indeed.
So that's one reason.
What's
another reason from a purely financial perspective?
Sure.
That if you invest $1 in silver versus $1 in gold, what's silver going to do different than gold? Because we've already had the conversation with gold.
Okay.
Because a lot of people tell me if you're a gold investor, you're definitely a silver investor.
Sure.
And I'm not sure what the average person would make of that statement.
Well, in percentage terms, I believe silver is going to go up more than gold. Okay, for the following reasons. One, most of the silver that's used in industry is in non-recoverable amounts. Okay, so therefore you have, I haven't got the specific stats, but you have a tremendous amount of silver that's being used in industry that's just completely used up.
Correct. So once it's used, that's it.
That's it. It's gone forever. Okay. Two, there is actually there is actually less silver above ground than there is gold. Now, there's more that can be mined, but at any given time, there is less silver above ground. And because a lot of it's byproduct, its fortunes are based on the fortunes of the larger commodities in terms of supply.
Now, we talked about that when we were talking about gold.
Yes.
Just for people who are just listening to this segment.
Yes.
Explain that to me again, just so that, from a silver's perspective...
Okay, there are very few actual only silver producing mines.
So in other words, that you go into the ground looking for silver and coming out with silver.
There's very few.
Yeah. So right. I thought you said there's something like 25%.
Well, it's...
Or maybe even less.
Or even less, yes.
Okay. So that means that, let's say, 3 out of 4 mines are mining something else and go, oh, by the way, here's some silver.
Correct.
Now that's interesting, because if you're not mining for those, all of a sudden, there's no silver, or there's less silver.
Correct. So that has a large effect on the supply side. The other big reason why people are looking at silver more favourably was there was a very large overhang of silver in the market for a long, long time because the US government had 2 billion ounces of silver. It was about 100 years' supply of silver that had accumulated from the silver rush and gold rush.
And when was that?
That was in the 1800s to the early 1900s that they'd accumulated it, and that supply ran out in 2003. Okay, so there was no longer this overhang that some government could come along and dump a lot of silver onto the market. If you look at the price trend of silver, it started to go up from the time that the US government announced that it ran out of silver.
Now we've heard a lot, because this is November 2009. We've heard a lot about the gold price increases.
Yes.
Made a lot of headlines for a whole bunch of reasons, which we've talked about.
Sure.
How has silver fared in the last decade or so?
Oh, it's fared exceptionally well. You had silver prices in the $3 to $4 an ounce US. We'll talk US dollars. Now, that was in the early 2000s.
Yep.
Now you've got silver at around about 17 plus US
So
dollars.
from $3 to 17.
It's quite
so
a large
500 or
rise.
600% increase in a decade.
Now people might think that is, oh my gosh, well, I've missed the boat. Well, if you look at the silver price from 1971 to 1980, it went from under $1 an ounce to $40 an ounce, more than $40 an ounce. So it had a 40+ fold increase in price. So to see a 5-fold increase in silver and a 4-fold plus increase in gold might sound like a lot, but there's a long way to gold. I mean, in the 70s you had a 38-fold increase in gold price. So, you know, there's plenty of upside.
So there you go. Reasons why you should definitely consider silver bullion within your investment portfolio. Thank you very much, Peter. Thanks for listening.
Welcome.